What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Viall Files. I am your host, Nick, joined by my illustrious team. I don't even know how it's fitting.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Great.
You said that beautifully.
Yeah. Chrissy, Allie, Amanda, how are all you ladies doing?
Fantastical.
Great.
How are you, Nicholas?
So good.
How's Jeff?
Jeff is great. Just really enjoying the family life. We have, really, I'm like, yeah, I got like a makings of a little fam.
I did
It's
see
kinda
Natalie
nice.
posted. Natalie did post, was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Just in case you forgot. I love it.
It's been a lot of fun. We have an amazing episode for you. The wonderful Tinx is with us. Tinx, so great that she's on par with the Madonnas of the world of having a single name nickname, which it works for. It's great. I'm super jealous, but she has been all over. If you're on TikTok, she's just, I don't know, a smart, relatable woman who has, shared her thoughts and opinions and views on life. And it's, she's been a joy to get to know. And as always, we talk a lot about relationships and dating, of which she has a lot of fun and insightful perspectives. And I think all of you will really enjoy this episode with Tinx. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't heard of her, you are going to after this, and you're really going to love it. So let's get to it. As always, sending your questions to asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K. We have merch. Chriselle Staus will be with us next week to recap episode 3 of The Bachelorette, of which I will be making a cameo. And a great Ask Nick episode next week. And also next week is Chrissy. Who do we have next week?
We have Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's right. Fun, interesting guys, very successful actors, and really fun to talk about life with them. So be sure to check that out. If nothing else, we will get to the one and only Tinx. Tinx, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the name.
Sure.
I'm sure you get that a lot.
I do.
Give yourself the nickname?
I sort of. So when I was younger, I wasn't that confident. And then one summer I watched this movie. And in the movie, there was this character called Tinx Parker, and she was really popular with boys, and she was really confident. And I came back to school that fall, and I was like, you guys, now I have an alter ego named Tinx Parker.
How old were you?
I was like 10, 11. And so it was like a Sasha Fierce thing. And they were like, okay, bet, that's fine. And then I just sort of slowly started to become her more and more because it was fun to be confident. And confidence is so much like fake it till you make it. And Tinx Parker got shortened to Tinka, got shortened to Tinx, and people have called me Tinx for like 20 years now.
How old were you when it stuck?
It stuck right away, honestly.
Tinx.
Yeah, Tinx stuck right away. It just, everybody apart from my mom and my lawyer calls me Tinx.
And do you even tell people your real name?
Not really.
You'd rather not.
It's not that I wouldn't, sometimes people, like I have a few friends that call me Christina when I'm like being bad or whatever, but when I'm misbehaving.
Like a friend?
Yeah, like a friend when they're like, Christina, you need to, and my mom still calls me that.
I'm very envious.
Of having a nickname?
Sure. I think most people would desire a nickname, let alone a single word, like a Madonna.
Jesus.
Tinx.
Cher. Yeah. Uh-huh. I am putting myself on that level,
Especially someone, like, I don't have the most appealing last name. Most people don't know how to pronounce it. And it's the type of name that you would usually want. Like, that's why actors who join SAG change their name, because, like...
But I think Nick is one of the hottest names for a guy.
Really?
Really?
Never have heard that.
I love the name Nick.
Why?
Yeah. Oh. I think it's so... I think the way it sounds is so hot. I have a really good friend called Nick, and... I call him Nikki, which I think is so cute and sexy. I think it's because of like the DILF in Parent Trap is called Nick Parker. Yep. And I think like from a very early age.
No, my mom's maiden name is Parker, and I feel like my life would be a little different if I was Nick Parker.
Yeah, I think I was conditioned from an early age to think Nick was a hot name because of the DILF. But also it's just like one word, it's hot, it's easy to say, it's strong, but it's not like overpowering. Have I gassed you up enough today? Jesus Christ.
I feel great. How important do you think names are?
extremely important. Why do you think Kim Kardashian's first marriage failed? She's not going to scream her mom's name for the rest of her life.
Who?
Chris Humphries. You can't marry someone with your mom's name. It just does not work in the bedroom. That's my theory.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But also,
what about siblings?
Siblings, like how important is it for your siblings to have good names?
No, I don't care about the quality of their names. But if you have a sibling and then you date you have a sister named Jessica, can you date a Jessica?
Yeah, I think it's not preferred.
Yeah, it's not preferred.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Or your own name, for that matter.
Yeah, that.
Well, if you're narcissist, that could be.
Because I'm a Chris, so there's a lot of male Chris's.
Yeah, that's
true. That's a problem for you?
I have dated people with the same name as me.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think a name is important because you say it a lot when you're dating someone. And I'm a big nickname person.
Yeah, like babe.
Yeah, like are you a babe or are you a honey person?
I'm definitely not a honey. I've used babe.
I'm a big baby person.
Babe. It's always been babe.
But then I also have like weird nicknames for them. That's how I know if I really like someone is if we right away start to develop our own little language.
Sure.
And our own little nicknames for each other.
Babe's always been the default, but I've said sweetheart. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love how sweetheart is totally right on the line of like condescending and sexy.
Yeah.
That's
probably why I use it.
And that's my daddy issues rearing their ugly head very early on in this.
Was your dad condescending?
No, well, sometimes, but I think it's like sweetheart it's like I've always wanted that like kind of pat on the head from any male figure where it's
you want a pat on the head from a guy because I've heard the opposite from women.
I want it all, but sweetheart is kind of like I don't know, it's very John Draper, like sexy. But yeah, I like babe, baby. Sometimes I'll say honey to be annoying, like on purpose. I'll be like honey, like I don't know.
Yeah, I think my girlfriend uses honey.
Yeah, it's cute. Are there any nicknames that annoy you, like or like little words like that you would be turned off?
Specifically, it's more about how
a
woman would say it.
Right.
Baby talk is truly the worst.
I agree.
Thing ever.
I agree.
I don't care what you look like or what you're wearing.
No.
Or what the mood is. You start whimpering and whining.
You're done.
It's over.
It's over.
So who are you? Where have you come from? Like what's you've made a splash on the old TikTok and social media. You're out here doing interviews. People seem to be enjoying your content.
You're like, my producers forced me to have you on the show, so.
No,
Nope,
Amanda
that's not true.
suggested
That's
you
negative.
first. Molly Sims came on here, raved about you. When Amanda suggested who you were, had noticed some of your content. We've been active on TikTok ourselves, and therefore I've spent a lot of time on there.
I am the world's oldest TikToker. I picked up TikTok a year ago in lockdown. Before that, I was a writer and brand consultant, so I always loved creating content, but I never thought of myself as a in front of the camera person. But I loved writing articles all throughout my 20s. Like, I went on a date with a new guy every week for a year, and this is what happened. Or I think that dating is like Pokemon Go, and here's why. You know, stuff like that. That was what made me really happy. And then I would also help brands like with their Instagram and whatever. So it was all leading to this. I just didn't know it yet. And then in lockdown, obviously nobody wanted articles about like how to match your workout leggings to your zodiac sign. So I was like sitting there twiddling my thumbs, and I loved TikTok as a platform. I was enjoying the content, but I did feel that there was space for more different formats. Like I thought, what do I want to see? I'm a millennial. I love a starter pack. I love celebrity gossip. I love product reviews, like more of that kind of stuff. I was like, fuck it. I have nothing to lose. I'll just start. And from the second that I made my first video, I knew that I'd found my true calling. And it's been a wild year ever since.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, we started doing stuff on TikTok, and it's a fascinating platform because you see it's very niche specific.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. And
yeah.
It's I've noticed on TikTok, it gives you the opportunity for people. You can build a specific audience, and they'll care about what you have to say as much, if not more, than actually who you are.
Completely. I think it's total opposite to Instagram, where it's very much like, who are you? How many followers do you have? What does your grid look like? On TikTok, it's literally, are the first 3 seconds of your video funny or interesting to me? That's all that matters. You never go to people's profiles. It does not matter what you look like. I built my platform on looking hungover and ugly and being like, I'm hungover, but I have this funny thought that I want to share with you guys. So it's much more of a meritocracy in that sense, which I like. Thank God, because I'm not very good at hair and makeup. And now people aren't surprised when I show up to everything in a sweatshirt looking kind of hungover.
So this whole TikTok thing was an excuse to train the world to allow you to wear sweatshirts.
I am breaking the norms of society. It's me.
I mean, it's still a Bel Air sweatshirt. Let's be honest.
Also, people have been wearing sweatpants in LA for a long time.
I invented sweatpants.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice job. You've been on TikTok. You talk a lot about relationships and dating. You are active with your relationship and dating life. We talk very much about relationships and dating on this podcast, so I figured we can just dive in just some of your more popular theories that you have in there. Do you find, as someone who has decided to be, because not only do you talk about like your ideas and like best practices and things like that, you also are pretty open about talking about your personal dating life.
Yeah. I started vlogging really early on TikTok because
Vlogging?
Vlogging.
Oh.
Vlogging.
Okay.
Yeah. Partially because I binge drank so much that I was worried I was going to forget all the good stuff that was happening to me. But then I just sort of really liked sharing my life with my followers. I don't mind at all. It feels very natural to me. But so when I date, I always give the guys a nickname, actually, like for the vlog. Right now I'm in a situation that's so confusing because I gave the guy I'm dating right now the nickname Young Gemini because he is a younger Gemini, but I shortened it to YG, and everybody on the internet thinks that I'm dating the rapper YG. Like, and they can't get it. Like I've put up so many stories being like, guys, I'm so sorry for the confusion. I am not dating the rapper YG. That would be really sick, but I'm not. And so, but yeah, I give them all nicknames. We have friend, new guy, Malibu crush, sportsman, they all sexy restaurateur.
Much of the men that you're dating are aware or not aware, and do they like it?
It totally varies. It's preferable that they don't watch my content because I won't lie to my followers ever. But it's just like in the early stages of relationship, like how I explain it is I speak to my followers as if I was at lunch with friends and I was catching them up on who I'm dating.
Sure.
But that's stuff that the person you're dating shouldn't necessarily hear. Like they shouldn't necessarily. They shouldn't 100%. Know, right? Like
not necessarily. Definitely. I mean, that's why I asked. Yeah. It would be.
They shouldn't know that you like them, or that they shouldn't know like that this annoys you about them or whatever. So it's tough.
Meditation, people, it's a real thing. It's not just for the people who you think would meditate. It's for everyone, and being centered, being present, staying focused are things that have helped me, deal with anxiety, things like that. So whether you're stressed out, like from, being an adult or working, meditation can really help channel your energy into, positive emotions. And it's helped me, and it can help you. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. So if you ever thought about meditating and you don't know what it is and you think it's for people other than yourself, trust me, it can be for you. For the moms out there, you can do meditation with your kiddos. Help center those little critters, those monsters, and a more kind of calming energy to help yourself and to help them get through the day. But super easy. So many of our listeners have benefited from Headspace, and you can too. And you can learn a lot about it right from the comfort of your home with Headspace. Go to headspace.com/VIALL. That's right. That's headspace.com/VIALL for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/VIALL.
And the guy I'm dating now is like, I wouldn't say a narcissist, but he definitely like likes to see what I'm saying about him. So I have to be a bit careful now, but
sure. Because then you ask, is he showing up and performing?
Totally. So, and there have been situations where I've sat down on a first date and they're like, am I going to make it in the vlog? And that's like, yeah, weird.
It pretty much ends the date.
It ends the date. And yeah, I think the dream is like someone who's loves how much I love my followers and doesn't really care. Like they acknowledge it as a separate relationship.
They know it. They're aware of it.
Yeah.
They assume maybe they might end up in it, but they're not going to make it their focus.
Well, and I think like I told the guy I'm dating now, I was like, I will never passive aggressively speak to you through the vlog. I swear on my life. Because I think that's a concern where it's like, if I was like, and I want him to, I was like, I'm never going to do that. So just don't watch it. If you have to, that's fine. But I prefer you don't because that's my friendship with my followers. And he was pretty cool with that.
But so you, in addition, do you say, I'll let you know if I have an issue or if I don't like something you're doing, you'll hear it before my audience hears it?
100%.
Okay.
Because I'm not passive aggressive. I think passive aggression kills friendships and relationships. And I'll say right away, that really annoyed me that you did that.
Where do you draw the line between expressing something that bothered you and like, I need to say this to you before I say it to my audience, and just like sharing that you had a date and the guy finding out how you thought? Because you know what I'm saying? Like if I go on a date with a girl, like she probably going to go talk to her friends and download, and I won't really know. I can insert my own point of view and guess, right?
Yeah.
And she might say, I had a really nice time. I hope to see you again. But he might be able to go and say, oh, I guess I didn't realize that she liked that or didn't like that. Where do you draw the line between those two things?
It's tricky. I think sometimes I'll like delay it. Like I'll wait a week so that it's just so I can still be super honest with my followers. But it's tricky. It's tricky because I actually like this guy. I think like for the past couple of guys I've dated, I haven't liked them that much. So it's been more fun, and I can like, just really chat to my followers about like, oh, he did this and that. But now I like this guy, so I need to be more thoughtful about it. And yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of your theories, and then maybe we'll circle back to YG.
Okay.
And find out more. I feel like if your audience is listening, they're dying to hear more about your feelings towards him. As now I'm fully invested, so I want to know how it's going. You have some great theories out on the old TikTok, which I like and often agree with for the most part. You talk a lot about ick.
Okay, the ick. So I did not invent the ick, but I did invent the ick list. So the ick is when you get that feeling of sudden cringe with someone that you're dating. I mean, from what I hear, it's mainly women that get the ick about a guy, where it's like,
sure.
Yeah, I don't think
men get it.
Well, they just don't call it ick.
They don't call it the ick. They're like, oh, she did something that really turned me off. But for guys, they're not.
It's not as specific.
I'll circle back because that actually falls into box theory. But men, like I have girlfriends where like they'll sit down and they'll be like, you guys, he had white sheets.
Sure.
And I can't see him again. Like that's an example of an ick. Everybody's icks are specific.
Or no sheets.
Or no headboard. No headboard is a great ick, a very common ick. But you can't.
Yeah, because most men in their 20s don't have a headboard.
Yeah.
Icks can be varying degrees. You can get an ick that's terminal, you can never see them again, or you can move past it. I advocate when you're dating someone new to make an ick list. So you, on your phone, on your notes app, you write their name and then you write underneath it little things that they're not a huge ick, but they gross you out or they bother you or it's a weird thing that they said or did. And you keep this as in your back pocket if you're in a fight, or if you feel like you're catching feelings too quickly and you like them more than they like you, or if you break up, and you can review it and be like, okay, I'm fine.
It's a preemptive, just in case this doesn't work out, safety net.
Yeah.
Remember, he puts a bong on his nightstand.
Yeah, or like just like weird stuff that guys do, like, or if he, I don't know, like one night if you went out together and like he was completely ignoring you and like it was fine, like not enough to make a big deal of it, but like you remember it, or like I don't know, something weird that he said about like his future if he's like, well, I would never have a dog. That's an example. But like, you know, small things where it's like not enough to make a conversation about it. It's too early on, but like you store it away and you have it in your head. Because I think sometimes girls get so caught up in like really early on, they future trip and they're like, this is my husband. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with him, whatever. And it's like, it's a good method to cool yourself down. And if he does ghost you, if you break up, what have you, you have that list to ground you in reality.
I think it's great. I mean, I'm always telling my audience, especially if they break up, you know, like no one is, I didn't invent this, but obviously make a list of pros and cons, what you don't like, and you break up with someone, and you know, it's always hysterical. Most breakups aren't, you know, completely one-sided.
Yeah.
Right. Oftentimes you guys have been fighting, you don't really like them anyways, but they beat you to the punch, and then you immediately like forget everything you didn't like about them. You freak out.
Yeah.
They become like your new obsession.
Completely.
And like everything about everything you ever liked becomes the biggest deal in the world. Like the fact that like you ever had brunch together is like the nicest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And you immediately forget all the things that you complained about to your friends over and over. And like, that's a time to go back and start making a list. But I find it interesting that you're suggesting they do this from the get.
Yeah, this is exactly the antidote to what you're talking about. I do a lot of Ask Me Anythings too, and one of the most frequent questions I get is how to get over a guy I never dated. Because exactly what you said happens. Like, you know, you're in a situationship for a few weeks, a month or two, then they're like, they ghost you or soft ghost you, and then you're like, he literally gave me his hoodie like to wear home, and it's like that's not good enough. Yeah. Like our standards are on the floor, and if you have the list, then you can remember like, oh, like that time like he didn't share his food with me, or like that time that he like ate a steak with ketchup, or like whatever weird icks you have. Like it's always good to have them, because for whatever reason I think a lot of women get attached super quickly to the idea of people. And again, it's not grounded in their behavior. It's grounded in like what they say or like what you're projecting.
Or I find women to be more guilty in dating. Guys do it too, but they're focused on getting the guy to like them.
Totally.
Rather than whether they like the guy.
Completely. It's like such an important mindset shift, and like really changed my entire dating life when I started realizing that like, you should go into a date saying, do I like them? Yeah. Not
the first
do they
date
like me?
is all about,
yeah.
Like, it is an interview.
It is an interview. It's literally an interview with cocktails, and it's just nuts how people can get so attached. And like even the way that women describe their dates, it's like they do their stats. They're like, he's from here, he went to school here, he does this, like he has a headboard, like
and so they've gone in before they've ever met this guy, and they've decided,
put him on a pedestal.
I like him, and so my job is to get him to like me.
Exactly.
And therefore, like, what questions? Like, they're in the interview.
Yes.
They're hoping to get the job.
Totally.
And meanwhile, they're just like, they have no fucking clue what he is like, other than, like you say, his stats. So do you think women are more guilty of like
100%, and
resume?
they don't even ask themselves like, how did he? I always say this to my followers. I'm like, how did you feel when you were with him? Mm-hmm. Were you yourself? Did you leave in a better mood? When something funny happens, do you want to text him? Like, we just totally forget about all that, and we're like, another thing that women do a lot is they get attached to something that he said. So I'll get a lot of DMs saying, Tinx, like, he said this and that. He said he wanted to date. He said he wanted to go here. It's like, actions speak louder than words. Does he call you? Does he text you? Does he try to hang out with you multiple times a week? Does he remember things about your life? Does he follow up? It's very simple.
Yeah. Well, men will do it too at the end of, like, if a woman breaks up with a guy and he's heartbroken, men like, but you said this and you did this. Yeah. And the truth, like, we say things.
Talk is cheap.
We say also feelings change.
100%.
That's another thing too. It's just like they might have meant it too.
Yeah.
And even in that moment.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
But like moments change, and some people value.
Yeah.
So, you know, the risk of being someone who, like, people always talk about living in the present and being present. And, you know, the power of now, and that's great. But if someone is incredibly present, they're also someone who might lead you on because they're so focused on this moment.
Completely.
So whatever they feel in that moment, they're going to say, and they're not worried about tomorrow or yesterday, and that's great. But if you're someone who like puts all that weight and the meaning behind it, what it means is they're having a good time.
Totally. It's not, yeah, I always say it's like, it's not a contract. When someone says like, I like you, they're just saying they like you like right now.
Or I love you.
Even if I love you, exactly what you said is right. Feelings change, and that can be really hard. I think there's a fine line between, like for me, I can be not defensive, but like a little wary because listen, I'm 30. I've dated a lot. I've dated in San Francisco, New York, and LA. Like, it's not that I'm defensive and I have walls up, but I'm wary. You know, I think like feelings change, people change. You gotta wait and just, you know, gird your loins.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not even. Is it wary?
Wary? I don't know.
But you're also just like, you've lived some life and you've been and you've experienced, you've broken up, had been broken up with, and now you're going into dates being like, we'll see, which is the best possible
we'll see
mindset. Is
a great mentality. Yeah. And I had one therapist, she was amazing. She was like, pretend dating should be like you're a scientist and you're collecting data.
Yeah.
You know, in the first couple months, you're just collecting data. You should really just say, oh, they said this, it makes me feel this way, this and that. And that's all. You're just collecting data.
Yeah. People always say like, well, I don't want it to feel like an interview. Well, if it's fun conducting an interview, it's not fun being interviewed. And yet so many people, and we agree that maybe women might be a little bit more guilty of it, go into a date making it about them being interviewed.
Totally.
So like, you have the option to go into a date and be like, I don't know if he's gonna like me or not, but like, we'll see if I like.
Do I like him?
I'm gonna interview him, and that's a lot of fun. That's power.
Yeah. I think like for me, so much of what I try to do now and what I hope to do is like to have girls younger than me learn from my mistakes, because the mentality that I have with dating now and for the past like year or so, I just always think like, if I could have been this way in my mid-20s,
sure.
My God. But a part of it is like, you have to go through it, but there are tips and tricks where I'm like, if I can pass these on,
it's hard.
Great.
Yeah. Cause like the thing that it's so hard to teach anyone, especially, and I'm not a parent yet, but like, how do you teach people perspective?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like, and that's where, like you mentioned, you joked about your dad being condescending. Well, sometimes when people make the mistakes, I know I do, you're trying to teach someone perspective,
completely,
but you just sound like a dick.
Totally.
Or you're just condescending because it's like, well, you don't know this,
yeah.
but like and you're just like, well, you're not me,
totally.
And you can't assume, and it's the most difficult thing. I mean, that would be the key to life. If you could somehow be a younger person, who could learn perspective earlier on, life would be just a cakewalk.
Yeah, I think I'm a person who does. I love like hearing from older people who have been through things before. I love reading autobiographies and memoirs, and I do feel like I soak up a lot of those lessons and apply them to my life, which is why I'm trying to like, even if some of it sticks, you know, even if 10% sticks of it to my followers, like, then that's a win for me. So
box theory.
Okay.
So, well, do you think, before you tell us about box theory, do you think it makes a bit of difference whether a woman sleeps with a guy either anywhere between the first date and, let's say, 3 to 4 months into dating? And does that in any way impact whether a guy will like them?
Very little.
Agreed.
So box theory is, if you meet a guy in a romantic setting, like as in you meet him in a bar or at a dinner party, or like you go on a date, he will put you into one of 3 boxes. He wants to date you, he wants to sleep with you, or he wants nothing to do with you. Okay? And people are like, but what about friends? Like, no, I said in a romantic setting. Okay. If a guy wants to date you, there is very little you can do to change his mind. You can sleep with him on the first date. You can get super drunk. You can puke on his shoes. He will find it endearing. If a guy just wants to sleep with you, you can hold out 6 months. You can talk about Jesus for your first 3 dates. He's still not going to want to date you. And if he wants nothing to do with you, sorry, just move on. But I think women get so caught up in, well, when should I sleep with him? When should I, whatever. It really doesn't matter. And then people say to me, well, Tinx, that puts all the power in like the guy's hands. And you're looking at it the wrong way. The point is, totally. It should be totally freeing, because you should sleep with him when you feel like sleeping with him. It will not matter. most of the boyfriends that I've had, I've slept with on first or second date because it was a vibe, and I knew, and I could tell that they wanted to date me.
Now, I don't totally know if I buy the guys will know the difference when they see a girl that they're interested in, whether he wants to whether she's girlfriend material versus I just want to have sex with her. I don't think that men are that sophisticated to know.
Yeah, that's fair.
The difference. I'll maybe run my movie theory by you.
Okay.
And you can tell me. I've used this to help explain why it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
So men are simple when it comes to sex. So like when you go see a movie, I find that how people feel about a movie is one of three things. The most common one is you go see a movie, it's fine.
Yeah.
You had a pretty good time.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it. You finished it. It's fine. You don't really need to see it again.
Yeah.
If you had to see it again, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Or you hate a movie.
Right.
You barely got through it. Sometimes you just turn it off. You don't even finish. Or you see a movie. You love the movie. You're obsessed with it. You tell your friends about it. You can't wait to see it again. Anytime it comes on TV, you watch it over and over and over again. Right? And for men, you're usually one of three of those things. And it really makes no difference how whether you have sex with them on the first night or 3 months in, he's going to put you in one of those three boxes. And if a guy likes having sex with you, if he loves you, if you're rewatchable, he's going to want to watch it again.
Yeah, I co-sign on this. Yeah.
Right? And if he's just not into you, it's not going to happen. And if you're just like, if it's like a decent watch, he's just not going to want. That's why. So the difference between night 1 or 3 months is that's not going to change the outcome.
Completely.
All you are is extending the time.
Prolonging it.
You're prolonging
Exactly.
his decision and the information he's going to get. Now, women will ask, well, doesn't the emotion connection matter? Like, a lot of women say, well, you got to build. That's why you have to build the emotional connection first. Emotional connections are great. However, 3, 4, 5 months isn't that much amount of time, and no emotional connection you're going to build with a guy is going to be enough to change his mind depending on where he puts you in that box.
Agree.
If you are someone who he doesn't like having sex with, or the sex is like okay, but you have a great personality, he'll make you a friend. It's like, let's be friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Now, emotion matters to the extent that I'm losing my train of thought. But so a great emotional connection will not make up for how he likes to have sex, how he feels about having sex with you.
Yes, that's correct.
But a bad emotional connection or a bad personality absolutely can ruin a great movie, so to speak.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He might be like, I love having sex with you, but I just can't stand you.
Yeah, totally.
It's not worth it.
Totally.
And he'll move on.
For sure.
So it really makes no difference on whether you have sex the first night or the fourth date. You're just given the information he needs to make a decision. And I totally agree with you. That doesn't give him all the power. It gives you the power to just do whatever you want, knowing that like most people, when they see a movie, it's just okay.
It's just okay.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
That's, it's got to be the right fit for everyone.
I find it empowering because I'm like, I sleep with a guy if I feel like it and when I want to. And again, it does come with like practice, like to detach from the outcome. And again, this is kind of annoying because like I usually know how a guy feels about me. Like I'm never super caught off guard, and I think that again comes with like age and practice. But yeah, it's empowering. Have sex when you want to, and I'm not advocating for having sex sooner, but I think it gets it out. It's like you find it out sooner. Like you find the outcome is there. Where it's like I just always say to my followers, like, wouldn't you guys rather know early on if it's not a match, so then you can move on? Where it's like, I think that's so heartbreaking for women when they like wait for 3 months and they're like seeing this guy casually and like they can't really tell, and they sleep with him and then they kind of like soft ghost, or then it like, just fades out.
They're
then
playing
they feel
this
like
whole game in their mind. Meanwhile, he's just like,
he's like, okay, whatever. He's like, the movie was okay.
And if you get him to play a game, he might stick around just to see what the movie's like.
Totally.
Also, and then when women will say, well, and it's true, like, women will release serotonin after sex and therefore might set themselves up to have an emotional connection a man's not going to feel. But that goes back to your original point. That's fine. Then know yourself. Have it whenever you want. If you're someone who finds yourself getting emotional connected to every guy you hook up with, then wait. And wait because you want to wait. It just won't make a difference to him. You're not going to trick him. He's not going to, if he doesn't call you back, it's just because.
It's not because of you slept with him when you did.
He didn't lose respect for you.
No.
He's just like, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I really, it's really hard for people to get their head around that one, but I stand by it. I agree with movie theory, and yeah, it just doesn't matter.
Why do you think why women struggle with that? Do you think just old school kind of mind frame?
I mean, I think it's like years of conditioning. I mean, I think you think of like, oh, the 3-date rule, the 5-date rule, the this and that. I think it's just, it feels like this thing that you're holding on to and you give it so much power. But if you take back the power and say, no, like it's when I want, then it's not so mystical. And again, you can even like extend the whole like interview thing to sex as well and flip it on its head and not be like, what will he think of me after sex? No, how was the sex for me?
Yeah.
How was it for me? Like, what did he do? Like, would I have that again? Flip
did he
it on
check
its
in?
Head.
Was he like, hey, did you finish? Did you climax? Did you come or whatever? What do you want to say?
And
did he ask?
And it's the same thing, exactly what you said with dating is like, it's like women just, they don't ask themselves those questions. And if the guy ghosts them, they'll be like, oh my God, like the sex was great. No, it wasn't. You told me. Like, that's the thing is like women also change their minds. That's the other flip side.
Oh, they have revisionist history?
Completely. Like the other thing that box theory explains is like, I really do think it kind of fits into one of those categories and you can't really move from box to box. Whereas women, I always say like, we'll sit down at a lunch and be like, I'm seeing a guy, he's okay, whatever. 3 weeks later, they're like, yeah, I think I like him. And then 3 weeks later, they're planning the wedding in Tuscany.
Yeah.
And it's, so it's like,
that is interesting. Women do that more than men.
Yeah, like I think that women date like venture capitalists and men date like stockbrokers. Men are like that one today, right now. And women are like, well, if we got a headboard and he got a job and if he was
has a lot of potential.
He has a lot of potential, then I think we can make it work. And it's just like, and men are just like, they want someone, they don't want to scroll through the Instagram. That's the other difference. Women, show me a picture of the guy you're dating. Okay, let me just find the perfect, this is the back of his head. And men want a girl that they can just turn the Instagram around and say, that's her.
Yeah.
It's different.
And for any critics of Tinx and I who disagree and say, well, if anytime I dated hooked up with a guy after date 1 and I didn't hear from him the next day, but anytime I hooked up with a guy after 3 months, he never immediately ghosted. And I'd said, like, fine, sure, you've built a rapport for 3 months.
Yeah.
And so short of him being a total asshole, you just started a clock, and he's just going to slowly phase you out.
And you're going to waste
don't think he's a
5
dick.
months instead of 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You played yourself.
100%.
Aligned.
It's good to know. We agree. What are also some of your favorite tips and tricks that you have for your audience that you'd like to share with ours?
Well, I have one called boyfriend sickness.
Ooh, I saw that.
I love boyfriend sickness.
Tell us about it.
It's a very serious disease. It only affects women. I have recovered from it successfully twice, and this is an exclusive. I am here to say that I do have a case right now.
You suggested it on your TikTok. I saw it.
I saw it. I mean, okay, boyfriend sickness, there are varying degrees. It starts, some of the early symptoms are she's looking at her phone and she's smiling like an idiot and she's like, oh, like Brad is eating a sandwich, and her friends are like, yeah, cool. And then it just keeps going and it's like, oh, here's the water. She's like, Brad loves water. Tries to bring him up in conversation, whatever. Some more serious symptoms are canceling last minute to hang out with him, becoming unfun when she goes out, stopping going out altogether. Some serious terminal symptoms are changing her vibe, like personality wise, saying we too much, saying, oh, well, we don't like sandwiches now. We do this, we do that. And
is this happening within the first few dates?
It's a serious affliction. It can be, it can come on quickly or it can be a slow burn. But like, I think for me, the symptom that I get the most is like that if I really like a guy, I bring him up in conversation all the time, and it's so annoying of me to do that. But yeah, boyfriend sickness. I've lost a lot of friends to it, so I just want to raise awareness to this serious cause.
You've lost friends by your actions, or
no,
everyone's doing it?
Because my friends have gotten boyfriend sickness and they've never recovered.
They've never recovered.
Yeah,
Is that called love?
No, because I have friends who are married who don't have it. It's just like it's a sickness, and it's just like it's so annoying.
Is the antidote ick theory? Or
I don't know. I think it's just like be self-aware and don't like, even if you're totally in love with a guy, like don't lose your friends. Like,
why do you think women do it more than men? It's more like
it's called boyfriend sickness, not girlfriend sickness.
No, yeah. but in all seriousness, like why? It's because your boyfriend theory is really just kind of, it's basically losing yourself as the individual.
Yeah.
And being obsessed. You're just one entity, and therefore like it's hard for you to hang out with your girlfriends because like you're just a different person now. Like you now have this like guy who doesn't have a headboard, who's supposed to be having cocktails and brunch and mimosas with the girls, and it's just not working out.
I think I developed this theory like because I was really sad when in my young 20s when some of my friends got boyfriends and they totally disappeared, and some of them came back and some of them didn't, and I just think female friendships are so important. And like I have a rule, like never ever cancel on your friends for a guy, even if it's the guy of your dreams. Never ever, and he's like, oh, I can only do Thursday, and you have plans to go out with your friends, do not cancel. Even if it's Brad Pitt, it is really bad dating karma, and it sets a bad precedent.
Also, even if it's Brad Pitt, no guy has ever stopped liking a girl or liked her less because she rescheduled.
Amen.
Ever.
Oh
in
my
the
God.
history of dating.
Amen.
No, never.
Yeah.
If that happened to you, you just gave him an excuse that he was looking for anyways.
Yeah.
Like if you like a girl, listen, if you're a flake and you keep like flaking on him, he'll get annoyed. But he's like, hey, would you like to go out on Thursday or Wednesday? And you're like, oh, sorry, I have plans with my girls. He will just like you more. Now, if there's exceptions.
I'm just saying we get those callers that have like those controlling kind of like male like boyfriends and stuff like that get like pissed because they don't show up or they cancel. There are some cases. I'm not saying. I'm just saying generally, it's not all cases. There are some men that do that,
but
that controlling.
Yes,
that has nothing to do with a guy's actually liking a girl. You're talking about completely two different things. You're talking about a controlling guy who likes power, and that what he likes is power. He doesn't like her. He likes his ability to like get her to cancel plans with her friends. So we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about an actual a guy who has a sincere interest in a girl. Mm-hmm. He likes her. He feels vulnerable. He's hoping that she likes him back, and he has never lost interest in a girl by not canceling with her friends.
Yeah, completely. And that's also why I say, from my friend Lindsay Metzler, don't accept weekend plans after Wednesday.
I was just about to ask. Okay,
Lindsay?
My mom did the same rule, and that's like how she basically like interested my dad, because if he didn't ask by Wednesday night, she'd be like, I'm busy. And then he was like, well,
you believe
shit,
don't
like I'll do
don't
earlier.
accept weekend plans.
And I tell my friends,
Yeah.
say no to the date until you get asked on the date you want. To me, a date is you meet a guy, whatever, on the weekend. On Monday, he's gonna text me, hey, I've made a dinner reservation for 8 p.m. on Thursday. Are you free to go to dinner with me? Would love to take you. None of this, when are we hanging, when you free bullshit. If it's anything less than a set time, place, and date, say no. For real, because then that's what you are showing him you think you deserve. Tell me when. Tell me that you've made a reservation and do it 3 days in advance, because I got fucking plans. And even if your plans are staying in and watching Housewives, don't say yes until you get asked on the date you want. Like a lot of women in their younger 20s are just like they want to go on a date. They want that it's the interview thing. They want the guy to like them. Say no. He needs to say, drinks this time here.
Yeah, because if you go to what are you doing today, what you are is just one of many options he's gone through, and you don't know if you're the first person he's asked or the fourth.
Yeah, or like when we hanging, and my followers will be like, but then don't you think he's asking me like when I'm free? No, he's not. He doesn't give a shit enough to make a plan or to even tell you his schedule. So
he's
say no.
He's checking in and saying, I'm kind of interested in you.
Yeah.
And I'm just letting you know I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I might want to hang out with you someday, but I am not prepared to carve out any time for you.
Exactly.
I'm trying to find out when you're available so that I can decide when I can fit you in.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there ever exceptions to these rules?
So I would never accept a same day date rule, except for if you already have seen someone like multiple times and they say, hey, I'm actually in your area for a meeting. Like, turns out would love to see you and grab a drink if you're home. Like, that's the only acceptable time where you can go on a same day date.
Or what if it's like he got offered tickets to something or some event of some kind?
Yeah, that's
What
fine.
about if a guy were to slide into your DMs or a dating app and you guys hit it off and you're talking and he's like, well, I'd love to take you out sometime. You're like, sure. And you're like, hey, I don't mean to sound, how about tonight? I'm free and you seem great.
Yeah, that's occasionally okay.
But you just have to measure their excitement level. He really has to.
You have to be really vibing. The other loophole is if you live in New York City, people in New York City date like they're going to the gym. They're like, what'd you do last night? Oh, I went to the gym. I wanted to, they're like, you can meet someone on Hinge and lunch in New York and you're going to drinks with them that night. But that's different vibe. That's the only loophole. On the whole, they should plan in advance. It shows effort.
Yeah. What about, something new out there in the internet is the phrase simp.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on that? And if a guy, I picture guys listening to this being like, oh, it's so complicated, it was like, if I show interest, then I get called a simp, and if if I'm like sure that I like her, then I'm all this. Like, first, how would you describe being a simp?
I think a simp is kind of like male boyfriend sickness, kind of. But I use simp as kind of like in a cute way. Like, for example, one time, I have boyfriend sickness. I'm about to tell a story about the guy I'm dating. See, I have it. Fuck you guys, I have it.
Can it just mean you like him?
No.
All right, continue.
He was like going to sleep and I was drunk and he knew that I was drunk and I FaceTimed him and he was like asleep and he picked up and I was like, that's so simpy that you picked up. And he was like, are you serious? Like, you called me. And I was like, yeah, but it's simpy that you picked up because you were already asleep.
Did he get defensive?
A little. But then I was like,
I just feel like, I don't know if that was, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was like a neg that you planted a seed. And now he's going to get self-conscious about it.
You can be a simp, you should never be a simp for a girl, but you can be simpy.
First of all, what does it mean to be a simp? What's the acronym? Do we know?
I don't even
Ladies,
know.
Get on it.
It just means, you're kind of, it's a great word. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from.
A silly or foolish person. That's what popped up for me.
That's it? That's not what we're
looking for the origin, right?
No, I just like I think it's an acronym.
A simp is someone who will do anything to get a girl's attention, often at the expense of their own dignity.
Yeah, to me, simp is more like, oh, guys, I can't hang. I'm going to take Marjorie shopping. I don't know.
Canceling with your boys, basically.
Canceling with your boys.
It's boyfriend sickness.
It's boyfriend sickness, but in reverse, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And do we like simpy men, or you like the occasional? Like when you said that to your guy.
Yeah.
You were like
flirting
with him all while like trying to tease him a little bit, but you like that he answered.
Yeah, but that's like how I flirt with people that I'm seeing. I'm like, because I also think it's kind of sneaky. I hope he doesn't listen to this, but like kind of sneaky manifestation. I'll be like, you're obsessed with me. That's how I flirt. Yeah. So like if I say, oh, you really like me, you picked up, you're obsessed with me, you like me so much, then they're like, yeah, it's cute.
Thoughts on calling the guy you like weird?
Calling him weird? Like, oh, you're so weird?
Yeah, but like I'm a big believer that you shouldn't call a guy weird, especially when it comes, like, that's weird. Ew. The guys will get really self-conscious about that.
That's so interesting, and I completely agree with you. I'm very careful with what I say to guys. Yeah. I'm very...
weird is a cousin to creepy.
Yeah.
And you never want, and if they're being creepy or weird, let them know.
Yeah.
But like when you're just like, oh, that's weird. Like,
no,
especially if a guy wants to try things out in bed or talk, and you may say weird, you're just like.
No, I actually completely agree with you. I've never thought about it or articulated it that way, but I really think you're onto something, because like I read this thing about, I went to this relationship talk a long time ago, and it was like, when you're in a relationship or seeing someone or whatever, like, and someone opens to you, like you can either like be open back, and this could be with anything, or you can shut them down. And it's like, people can only take so many shutdowns. So it could be anything. It's like, if I come in and I'm like, hi honey, how was your day? And like, they don't turn towards you, like that's a shutdown. And they're like, it was fine, like whatever. But for you, like what you're saying also in bed or whatever, if someone like does something, if you say you're weird, it's just like such a,
yeah,
it's
it really bothers me.
Not good. Yeah,
especially early on if you don't know them, and I say that because I don't think a lot of women using it are trying to mean it in the way men are taking it.
Totally.
Like, oh, I don't know, that's kind of weird. And men they're sensitive. They get very much in their heads about what I'm weird. Oh, I don't want to be weird. Am I creepy? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that's when you might trigger a guy. You know, when women hate, and if a guy's like, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay? Is it fine?"
Yeah.
That's when you start calling them weird like that. That's when you're going to trigger a guy who's going to be constantly checking in a way that you don't like.
Totally. Yeah, and even in play, it's not fun and it's not flirty. It's just like, yeah, find another way to say it. Because it's so,
and to say you don't like it, or that's not,
totally. I'm very into communication. I'm too much into it. Like in the bedroom, is like, so I would never say that.
Do you think you can communicate too much in bed?
Well, I think I'm very like, okay, like tell me everything that you like, and like tell me your fantasies. Like really, really, like I think that's so important. But again, I think that's like an age thing where I realize that it's a comfort level, and I'm super comfortable, but not every guy is. It can be a lot for me to be like, tell me everything.
I think men are more open to that than.
I think what it is like
experience. It's just experience,
yeah, it's
right?
Experience.
Comfort level.
But I think when you're younger, like when I was younger, I didn't think it was cool to talk about what you liked in bed, like early on. Like I thought it was cool to just like go with the flow and like not talk and like do whatever. And now I'm very much like, no, the way that we make this good is like we each say what we like and like how we like it, and then it will be amazing. But I think that's only something that I've really done for the past couple of years.
Yeah. I think that just comes more from our Puritan society.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever said the word blowjob to my parents, or hand job, or like we didn't talk at all.
No.
It was,
my God.
Don't do it.
Yeah, totally.
Ever.
Yeah.
And so you take those kind of lessons into your dating life, and you're just like I can put my dick inside you, but we can't ever have a conversation about it.
Totally.
Which is like bizarre, but we weirdly do that when we get out there in the dating world. And
totally.
It's kind of insane when you say it out loud.
It's insane. And it's like, I think a lot of women feel that they have to be super performative in sex, and like they have to act a certain way. And I wish that I could tell, I do tell them, like, actually just being super open about what you like and asking someone what they like is the sexiest thing that you can do. You don't have to literally be like screaming and like whatever all the time.
No, there's nothing worse than knowing she's performing.
Oh my God. And I used to do it. Like, I'm not embarrassed. Like, I'll say it now. All of my sex in college, apart from when I had a boyfriend, was like me literally acting like I'm auditioning to be on Pornhub. Like, for what?
Yeah. And there's a difference between like mutual dirty talk and role playing with your partner, and like, maybe playing a character, versus like getting drunk.
Yeah.
And being like, fuck me.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like, shut up.
You're like,
please.
Shut up. Little did I know, every guy was probably like, why are you screaming like this? And I don't
know, but also that impression was amazing.
Yeah, and then like you don't know what to say, so you just repeat and I've said this before, like, just repeating the same thing over and over again does it make it hotter.
Oh my God. I'm cringing for my
Have you ever hooked up with anybody in porn? Either of you?
No.
Like they've been in a, what do you mean?
Well, like overshare, but I may have hooked up with somebody that was in porn. But that also was an issue because in your mind, it fucks with you.
Of course.
Because you're wondering if the way they're reacting, you're like, oh, but like.
To their training.
I mean, I don't know why would you do that? I mean, it's their job. You're just going to make it feel like work.
No, but I have actually.
It's just an observation. That's exactly what it's like a mind fuck. Like,
yeah.
What about? Do you have any advice for the women out there when it comes to nudes and sex tapes? Because that seems to be a growing phenomenon with everyone being a producer with their own phones.
So I love to send nudes. I really do. But you know what? It's for me. It's not for the guy, I've realized.
Yeah.
And God, that's actually one of the growing most common questions I got on my Ask Me Anythings, which are Mondays and Thursdays on my Instagram, by the way. It's like, what are flattering poses for nudes? I don't know if I'm ready to like show the pose that I do, but maybe. But I've realized it's for me because I get turned on thinking about them getting turned on when I send them a picture. So I like it. And again, girls will ask me like, when is too soon to send nudes? And I'm like, when you feel moved to, absolutely do it.
Do you include your face?
I do, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We had a girl on, Lala Milan, who gave us the best advice ever when it came to nudes.
Watermark.
She watermarks the guy's name on it.
Unbelievable.
So smart,
So if
right?
it gets out,
she knows
who did it.
That is so genius.
It's really great.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like...
But we're also in a day and age where like, it's like, 5 or 10, Kim Kardashian changed the game for everyone.
Totally.
Where it's just like, I don't want my nudes to get out, but like,
if they did,
I might get a lot of it. Like,
yeah. And I'm just kind of like, well, when I signed with my manager, like pretty early on, he was like, is there nudes? Is there a tape? And I told him everything. And he was like, okay. He was like, something will come out at some point. And I was like, I'm honestly okay with that. That's fine. Like,
secretly hoping.
As long as I look.
Is that why because you always hear women will get obscene, like will get unsolicited dick pics. And then when you describe, well, I send nudes for myself, I can only assume that that's what men must be doing because like no one's asked for the dick, but you're here taking a photo and sending it. They must just feel good about it.
Yeah.
And they want you to see, and it's not really for, I'm assuming that it's not for
I
men
think
must
it
know,
comes
or do
from
they
a
not smart
different
enough?
place. I think like I really encourage women to like if like not only can the idea of your guy getting turned on turn you on, but also like the act of taking a nude I think can be like a big celebration of your body and like feeling really good about yourself. I think dick pics, it's more like, this is my dick, it looks great. Sorry, I make all these guys sound dumb. No, listen, I don't like a pic of, oh my God.
You like the full, you want the whole
I like a
display.
video.
The video.
I like a video. It can't be a pic. It can't be a static pic. I like a video.
Like using the tool?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do you want the
sound on?
Oh, I wasn't even go there.
That's way better than a picture, 100%.
Now, do you want a close-up or do you want like the abs or stomach, or you just really want like how big it looks in his hand versus like what's the goal in a video and why do you want the sound on?
I don't know. That is just a personal preference that I like.
Do you guys? I mean, I don't. Allie has no. Do you have an opinion,
A
Allie?
pic is just like,
I know.
What am I going to do with a pic? Unless
I analyze the pictures because I'm old now. So I'll be like, oh, their bed's not made in the background of their penis.
My God, I'm
or
dying.
like, why do they have a white sock on with their black shoe that's still on in the background of their penis? A video would distract from that.
That's the thing, is like a pic is too, unless it's a Snapchat where it's like, oh my God, where it's like I'm thinking about you, like, and it's just a quick Snapchat, that's fine. But otherwise I want a video with sound because it's it's less distracting. Like I could, because there's a lot of icks in a pic. There's a lot of potential where it's like, why is your sheets like that? You said it, but like if your socks are still any weird shit like that, I'm going to immediately focus on and be like, ugh. But if it's a video, I'm like, okay, can see what we're working with, like gets me in the zone. But yeah, you got to work up to that. But I always tell girls, if you feel like sending a nude, do it. But don't do it because a guy sends you like pics ? Like that's not cool. Do it as like a part of foreplay, or like if you're seeing someone and you're like getting to know them in that way, like that's cool to do.
And watermark it.
Genius idea. But we're just in a completely different age now where it's like it's not looked down upon, and if anything it would be like sympathetic to the person whose nudes got leaked. That's
how it's, as long as the general thought is you didn't do it on purpose.
Totally.
It was like you were somehow victimized, or it was an accident. Mm-hmm. Then everyone's like, oh,
okay. They're like, I'll check it out, respectfully. I can't believe that I just said that I like videos with sound.
I feel like that's a risk for men.
Yeah.
Because they're men are very vulnerable with the kind of noises they're capable of making.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's also just like you get older and you just like, you're just ready to say like what really turns you on. Like, because the stuff that I used to say turns me on was like, I don't give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah.
Does your current, is it, what's his name again? YG. Is he aware of the Ick List that you have accumulating?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend showing your guy the Ick List?
God, no. No, that's for you. You better bury that shit so deep in your phone. You better national treasure the shit out of your Ick List.
Because it could go nuclear? Because
if he finds it, he's not only going to think you're... I say like the icks, it's not... Even like not having a headboard is like the most normal ick you should have on there. Like I can't even give examples because, well, the one I gave in the video that I made is like this guy I was dating held the fork like a toddler, and it literally drove me insane. Like this and like this, and I was just like, I can't. The Ick List should be so specific. It should be like that time he had like a weird... I sound mean, but it's important to make it like the time he had a weird like one hair like that he didn't shave, or like that time that he had a weird zit on his back. Like these are all things that are going to help you if it goes belly up. I'm not toxic. I'm smart. I swear.
No, I again, it's just how you use things is a big difference. But you're right. I mean, so he knows one exists, but he doesn't know what's in it.
Now, and well, this one is so different because it's like, yeah, this is the first guy that I've dated that I've really liked since I've had followers. And so it's
How long you been hanging out with him?
Like a month and a half.
What do you like the most about him?
He's really fun. And I've never met someone who likes having fun as much as I do. And he's really silly with me. Like last year I was in lockdown sleeping with my best guy friend, which was an utter disaster.
And when you say sleeping, like you're hooking up.
Yeah. And no, we were slumbering.
I don't know. Like maybe it was a quarantine. You said he's your best guy friend. You're like, I don't know. We got one bed.
And it was a disaster. And it was a disaster. It was so bad. And then I was like, okay, I need to get another boyfriend to show him.
Who felt feelings?
I did. Okay. So bad. Like sobbing on TikTok. Bad. Like really bad. And then I was like, I'm going to get another boyfriend to show him, like, because he doesn't see, like, what we have is perfect. So then I got another boyfriend. This poor guy got caught in the crossfire. Then I dated that guy for 5 months, and I never felt silly with him. Like, and what I said at the beginning, like, for me, it's very important, like, that I immediately start developing my own language, and, like, we're really goofy and silly together. Like,
feel safe.
I feel safe. I don't take anything seriously. I also need someone who can, like, put me in my place and be like, that's enough. But, yeah.
I don't. Most of my audience tends to agree with me on TikTok, but I did put one out about being friends with the opposite sex. And people, there's always like, well, I'm my best friend's a guy.
I know, and it's like,
congratulations.
Yeah,
like
good for
there's
you.
always exceptions to every rule, but do you agree for the most part you can't have a best friend of the opposite sex? Obviously, if you're bisexual, it comes down to sex. You have to draw the boundaries of like having sex with your quote unquote best friend or friend with the opposite sex has to be as unappealing as seeing your sibling naked.
Completely agree with you. Yeah.
And for the most part, that's not the case.
Right. Because you always do. And like, I think with boy and girl best friends, like it kind of ebbs and flows. Like if if you're friends for a long time, like who would fuck who like more easily. Do you know what I mean? Like you go through phases where it's like maybe one of them is seeing someone and it cools down and then whatever, or like one person's really horny and like they'll like the other person a little bit more. But like, yeah, I mean,
yeah, I was because I made the TikTok because a woman put out a very popular one who said women can have guy best friends because women generally her theory was women are more selective with their sexual partners, right? For the most part, like, and there's a lot of truth to it. Like the assumption is women can pretty much have sex with anyone they decide they want to have sex with, and men can't. Which, generalization, sure, but there's a lot of I've said no to a lot of sex. Like
sick, bro.
I don't mean it like that, but most people are, unless like most guys, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not you're going out and if some like it's not like any girl who walks up to a guy is like, oh,
they're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so I'm sure you always see that one guy at a bar who would,
100%.
But for the most part it doesn't happen. But she was saying how women have that ability to say no and therefore it's possible, and I'm just like, no, because even if you're the person who deep down thinks, if I wanted to have sex with this person, I could, but I don't want to, so I can be friends with them. Yeah. I'm like, well, first of all, like, well, to be friends, you have to mutually feel the same way. It can't be one person who feels that way. Completely. That's not a friendship. That's just someone who's like most times friends of the opposite sex. And I don't even mean this as a bad thing, serve as placeholders.
Completely agree with you.
And like I have, and now when Natalie and I started getting more serious in dating, I didn't like stop being friends with my girlfriends who I'd go out to dinner with and sometimes like go to a flea market or do some things. And it was completely platonic and neither of us wanted to hook up with one another. But that time goes to Natalie now.
Of course
so
it does.
It's just like, I didn't want to have sex with my friend, but I also would rather go to a movie and dinner with like Shug than I did Eric.
Completely. Because it feels good. And it's like there is that. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I mean, we even called it like fake boyfriend, like me and my best guy friend. I would be like, let's play fake boyfriend. And he would like take me to the Grove to have wine and stuff. And then, but.
And it gets a little.
And now, like, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you think. Like, we are still friends. I don't know if I should actually hang out with him one-on-one anymore. Now that I have this guy that I'm seeing.
And this is someone that you were crushing a little bit more.
I was like fully like really, really had bad feelings for him and like had to take a little space and like.
So then you have to ask yourself, like, how much was that real or how much of that was situational, given like, it was a quarantine, we lived together. It was an idea of someone, not really him. Like, do you need the Ick List? Did you need an Ick List to get over it?
I needed a full random other boyfriend to get over it and like to not see him for a while. And so, but now we're good again, but we still like, before I met YG, like we did still cuddle. Like we cuddled in like February. We didn't sleep together. We had a little kiss.
But you're saying this is someone you really were friends with?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I ever was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you ever really were.
I think we were just placeholders and it felt good.
Yeah. And sometimes when we meet someone, whether it's a guy or a girl, we'll tell ourselves like, I'll just be friends, either because you don't know if they'll like you. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm crushing on them. And I don't know if they even like me. So let's just call each other friends.
Yeah.
But if they took their shirt off or their pants off, like you would feel something.
Totally.
And therefore you never really were just friends. I don't think you should see this guy anytime soon because...
well, we usually hike every Saturday, just us two.
Are you still doing this?
Well, we were, yeah.
How long ago was this?
That I last hiked with him 2 weeks ago.
Are you in the position with YG, thank you, where you feel like have you defined anything?
No, I mean.
So you're still technically a free agent.
Yeah, but it would be like we see each other 4 nights a week.
Sure, but like.
So
are you in that gray area where you haven't defined anything, but you both have some unspoken expectations of one another?
We're exclusive, yeah.
So you've defined that. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between being exclusive and calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend? Because honestly, I'm unaware.
I don't know. I sent him a picture last night. He was out, and so he was drunk, but I sent him a picture, and he goes, "That's my girlfriend."
Oh, so there you go.
Fuck. Oh my God.
So you have a boyfriend.
I don't know if
Congratulations.
I don't know
I feel
if
like
he's my boyfriend. I feel like he's going to ask me this weekend.
He just asked you.
He didn't. He was drunk.
Doesn't matter. You've both said, I'm not having sex with other people.
Mm-hmm.
You've defined that. You've set that expectation. Then you're boyfriend and girlfriend. What is the difference? Because people are, I don't understand. Like, boyfriend and girlfriend. That's what it is. It's not having sex with other people.
Totally. Yeah, you're right.
That's it. That's all it is.
I feel like there's a threshold where it's like, when a holiday comes up, is there a conversation, like, is it on the table that you guys might spend it together? Like like a Thanksgiving, like a Christmas. Like, I think that's a real.
Well, no, but that's like boyfriend and girlfriend is just, well, as we know, a label, and you can be dating, you can be boyfriend and girlfriend for a week, or you can be boyfriend and girlfriend for 5 years, and the more the relationship advances, the expectations increase. Right now, your only expectation is we're not going to fuck other people, for the most part. Like, that's the first one people establish, where it's just like, can I just know that every time we have sex, I don't have to wonder if I should go get an STD test.
Yeah.
And then
we're like going away together this weekend. Like, I'm going to his house in July. Like,
sure. But there's a playing house phase early in relationships too. Yeah. But what you're talking about in terms of like, well, if I call you my boyfriend and girlfriend, does that mean you're automatically going to invite to Thanksgiving? Not necessarily.
No, I just think there's a threshold where it's like, once you cross that, then it's like a different stage of things. And I think you can be boyfriend, girlfriend without being in that stage. But I think that's like when you really start to like work them into your life or expect that they're going to be present in certain ways.
I would argue that you really can't, but it's something people say to themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're either afraid of, it's always generally based off of fear of what the other person's going to say or not give you the same thing that you want. So you distance yourself or detach yourself from like having or saying what you expect, right? Because you can be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, honestly, Natalie and I have not talked about like the holidays coming up, and I don't really know if there's we're very serious. We live together.
Yeah.
But like, her family lives in Georgia, mine's in Wisconsin.
Right.
And I don't, like, we might spend it together, but I don't think it's crazy to be like, I don't know, your family lives in Georgia and mine lives in Wisconsin. And like, there'll be, if we stay together, there'll be plenty of times we can see each other's families.
Completely.
So like, we don't have to. If we want to, it's a choice that we make because we have to. People make the mistake all the time of being like, well, what does it mean? No, while we're boyfriend and girlfriend, we have to spend our holidays together because then we're not, it doesn't mean shit. Like, people make the mistake all the time. That's the playing house aspect.
But I don't think it's like whether you do or don't. It's just like whether that's on the table. Like, if I'm booking a trip, do I at least think about whether I'm bringing this like guy or girl with me? Like, I can still go on trips by myself, but like, are they at a stage in my life where like I fit them in, they could fit into a lot of different aspects.
But defining a relationship has more to do with what happens if we break up or what happens if my feelings change. So once you define the relationship and say, well, we no longer want to have sex with other people, if your or his feelings change, you still have to have a conversation. You still have to break up. It doesn't really matter whether you're going to play house or take trips together or see each other's families. Like, you're still going to have to break up. And therefore, if you have to break up, you're boyfriend and girlfriend. If it requires you to have a conversation short of, so that they don't go, he's a fucking asshole, he just like ghosted me, then you're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah. So do you think, I've been out of town, and then my best guy friend has been out of town for like probably 3 weeks, and this thing with YG has like moved really quickly. And my girlfriend was like probably 2 weeks ago, my best guy friend wanted to come over and watch TV with me, and she said, you can't do that anymore.
Probably not.
Well,
what is YG think? Well, it all depends on what it's this expectations.
We don't talk about that. Like,
you might not talk about it, but you guys have relationships start when expectations are defined and explained, and you can have and then when it gets messy is when you start having expectations but don't communicate them
completely.
So that, when you ask your friend, I would just ask him.
Well, yeah, my girlfriend was like, the reason why I think it's inappropriate if he comes over to watch TV with you is because your feelings will never be completely zero for him.
That's not necessarily true.
Not true, right?
You can I mean, I have cried over girlfriends, and I've been a mess. Like you look back and you laugh how much of a mess you were.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more indifferent towards them. I have a level of like, I'll always care about that person. And I guess if I needed to help them and needed my help, they'll never need my help because they have other people in their lives. And like, I would be there for them, but I could give a shit about like who they're dating or what's going on. I'm completely indifferent. And you can absolutely become indifferent about people. Like that's the goal when you break up, is to focus about like being able to be happy for them.
And what do you think, this has turned into my therapy session, what do you think it means that I didn't tell my best guy friend about, we don't talk about boys and girls anymore? Like since we stopped hooking up. You're definitely
not friends.
Yeah, we stopped hooking up in like September of 2020, and then again we recuddled in like, we didn't sleep together, but we like cuddled and kissed in February, but we do not mention other guys and girls to each other. Whereas before we slept together, we would give each other advice.
You're not remotely friends.
We're not friends.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like being friends is being friends. Like you want their advice. You want to tell them what's going on. I've had situations where I've started dating a girl, had sex a couple times, and then it stopped for whatever reason, right? And you can be friends with those people, but there has to be a gap, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to need this person, there needs to be a complete gap. And then you'll have to accidentally reconnect. And one of you will have to break the ice and say, listen, I know we don't work out, but like, you're cool and let's hang out. And usually this only happens when you're single. And then you hang out and you might do the dinner and movie thing. You don't cuddle. When you get drunk, you don't crash at each other's houses. And if you do, because your safety is like in need, because you shouldn't be driving or getting in an Uber when you're hammered, you sleep on the couch. Like you never go back to that place, and you very much talk about your sex life and dating life. And then you can be friends. And I've had that happen, and it's straight up platonic. And you're not friends because you're dating someone else. You're friends because you could have sex with each other. You could sleep in each other's bed. You could cuddle, and you don't want to. It's not on the table, and you mutually don't want to. And like, that's not what you're describing. You're describing a guy who's like, you're very fragile about this guy.
Yeah.
And actually part of you wants to go hike with him because like, it's like, it's you. I always use the Sour Patch Kid theory, where like, I'm not saying this friend was toxic, but he's a fix. You get a fix from hanging out with him.
100%.
And you're trying to convince yourself, can I get this fix without getting sick from it, without getting gut rot, without like it doing something. You're trying to convince yourself that he's somehow healthy for you right now, even though you like this other guy.
Because he's like such a good friend, it's
he's not a friend.
No,
he's not remotely a friend.
No. Okay.
But maybe someday, probably not. The thing is, one day you just won't give a shit.
I know. And I actually feel like that might be sooner rather than later, because with the placeholder boyfriend in the fall, like I didn't ever really connect with him, but this guy I can really see myself falling for, so maybe this will be it with YG.
Maybe. He's older or younger?
He's younger.
How much younger?
26. I'm 30.
Is that a big deal for you?
No. I actually only date guys younger or older, not my own age.
I mean, it's hard to land on your own age anyway.
No, but like 28 to 34 is like kind of a no-fly zone for me.
Wow.
Another theory.
Why?
Because they are kind of, if they're 28 to 34 not in a relationship, they're kind of like having a mental breakdown. They're like, they're kind of like, I don't know if I'm young or if I'm old. I don't know what I want. It's just like, it's not a vibe for me. But if they're younger,
it's specific to that age. It's not as much to do with, it's too close in age
This is
to
the
you.
theory that is the most generalization. And I think it applies most to LA. But I just feel that a lot of guys around my age are kind of feeling the stress of like becoming a grown-up for the first time, whereas women kind of like, I feel like around 25, 26, they're like, okay, I'm a grown-up now. And let me put it in a more positive spin. I think younger guys are so much fun. They are unaware that they're ever going to age. They have a ton of stamina. They're super ambitious and rambunctious. And then older guys are kind of like past the point of like caring about the small shit, and it's that father figure thing, and that's really fun too. Whereas my age, it's kind of like, what the fuck are we doing? I think that's also a millennial thing though. There's a lot of generalizations in that theory, but for me, it does work. But he's about to be 27. That's not bad. That's fine, right?
I think it's totally fine.
Totally fine.
It
doesn't bother
your theory,
me. Yeah.
If your theory is right, then you're running the risk of him hitting that phase.
But if we're in a relationship, then he will skip it.
I don't think people skip phases. I think they just delay them.
We'll see.
I think you're going to be fine. I don't know if I necessarily agree with. That's a very general, like you said, it's
very general theory.
So you're probably okay. I wish you guys the best of luck. Before I let you go, you down to play a game that we play with our guests?
Absolutely.
It's called Do You Know Me? It's real simple.
Yeah.
I'll ask a question. Does Tinx this? Has Tinx ever done that? You can say yes or no. Don't say right away. We'll guess if we know Tinx, and if you have an anecdotal story, you're welcome to share. If not, you can simply say yes or no.
Beautiful.
Question number 1. Do you know me with Tinx? Has Tinx ever gone vegan?
For like less than a week.
Yeah, like I even went vegan for a week. It happens.
No, I think that she has too many opinions about what it means to be vegan, and I don't think Tinx is someone who would do something like be a vegan if she wasn't committed. I don't think she does things for a week, because if she's not going to be a vegan, she's going to have opinions on what it means to be a vegan.
I don't know. I think maybe she tried it on like a health journey kind of thing, but then like was like, no.
Well, just to be clear, to answer this question, like trying a diet for a week but like, I mean, like she actually went vegan hoping that it would stick.
Oh, so
Got it.
You don't go into it thinking it's going to be a week.
But it's like me saying, like, I'm not going to eat red meat this week because I've had too much. Is not me going vegan. It's like me doing a cleanse.
It's like you can have that spiritual health journey where like, I'm going to go vegan. I'm going to have like a good health journey.
But that's what I'm saying.
This
It's
is
not
the
as
new me.
not as a temporary
like,
diet
no.
where you know there's an end date. It's just like, I'm vegan, and then like you tell everyone, and then a week later you're like housing like a pepperoni pizza, and everyone's like, aren't you? Like, yeah, no, it's fine. So I'm gonna say no, she didn't do that.
I was vegan for, but like the worst vegan, like trying to be healthy, and then when I was drunk, I would eat meat, and then I did it for an article because like Beyonce went vegan, so I did it. I was doing one for Pop Sugar, and I was like,
so you didn't watch it? It was just for an article. It wasn't because you watched a doc.
No, it was because I watched that stupid doc, and then I was like, I'll read the article, whatever. But I didn't stick.
Does Tinx have a go-to pickup line? Also, do you slide into DMs?
I have.
And what would your pickup line be?
A custom pickup line is the best. People ask me all the time, what should I do to slide into a celebrity's DMs? A custom pickup line is the best. On a dating app, I used to always do, what's your Uber rating? It's like,
so you ask a
cutesy.
question.
Yeah. Or if it's in person and all my followers are like, oh my God, I could never, I always go up to a guy and I'm like, you're really handsome. And then just stop talking. Fucks their shit up. But you have to make eye contact and you have to say it like.
Yeah, you have to stop talking and then look,
shut up.
And look right at them. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It works. If pulled off correctly, it's.
Has Tinx had more alcohol than coffee this week?
This week is interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe you've had some fun this week.
No.
Coffee because she was in New York and trying to stay up because she traveled?
Yeah, I don't think she drank as much this week as she would typically do or has.
That's right. I haven't had a sip of alcohol this week. It's tonight.
Brave.
I was too much work.
Does Tinx own any healing crystals?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I own healing crystals. I feel like everyone's got a secret crystal passion.
You know, I'm going to say no.
If she does, I would say they're more so for like interior
I don't
design.
think she's like a true believer.
Yeah,
but they
it's
a
look
nice feng
cute.
shui to it. It's like, sure, I'll have them.
Someone gifted me one. That's the only one I have. I'm not a big crystal gal. I don't.
Has Tinx ever accidentally sent an inappropriate text or email to the wrong person? Yes.
I feel like
Everyone
I feel like you have recorded a voice memo and sent it to someone by mistake.
Well, also, it just happens when you're like, oh, I'm going to text about this person. Then you type their name because it's like on your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like everybody has.
Yeah.
Has Tinx ever been injured during sex?
This is the best story.
Yes, then. Yes.
You guys.
So
Okay.
yes.
Okay, how much time do we have? We can end on this note. This is a story of why you should always just be yourself, and a story of how people can change. In college, I was seeing this guy and he really wanted to be my boyfriend, and I was like, no, like he was a senior and I was a freshman or sophomore, and I was like, no, like I want to be like, just we're dating, but like you're not my boyfriend. And then he was like, if you don't show me affection soon, I'm gonna dump you. And I was like, okay. And I was really British at this point, you have to remember. And I was like, what do American people think is romantic? Like, what can I do to show him that I love him? So I got on my bike and I rode to CVS and I got a bunch of candles because, you know, in romance movies, there's always candles. And I'm like, tell all my friends, I'm like, you guys have this plan. I'm going to surprise him. And they're like, just don't burn down the sorority house. Like, just please come on. Because if the sprinkler goes off, all of our clothes will be ruined. And I was like, got it. So I set up, it looks like I'm about to perform human sacrifice. There's so many Yankee candles in my sorority room. But I put them all near the window because so the smoke will go out. And I'm like, this is a phenomenal plan. And I went to Stanford and it happened to be finals week. So all the nerds are very stressed out, studying, whatever. And I call him up and I'm like, I have a surprise for you. I drink a bottle of $2 wine in preparation for this evening. He comes over. He's like, this really means a lot to me. It shows me that you care. We drink another bottle of wine and things start happening. And in my Merlot haze, I hear this like beeping noise. And I'm like, what is that sound? And I look behind him and my bed is on fire. Like all my basic bitch throw pillows are completely ablaze. And I'm like, all I can think of is like the older girls in the sororities' clothes are going to be ruined when the sprinkler goes off. I dismount. I start whacking the pillows together like to try and get the fire out. And I'm like, he's standing there like a fucking idiot, obviously. By the grace of God, I get the fire out. I have no idea why. The door flings open.
Help?
He didn't help. I'm naked. He's naked. 60 sorority girls are standing. And I'm like, you guys, I'm so sorry I woke you up. But like, don't worry. The sprinkler didn't go off. I got it. And nobody's speaking. And they're just like, Tinx, your hand. And I look down and my hand is just totally charred. The next thing I remember is I black in and he's driving me to the ER and he's like, I know that this isn't funny now, but I promise you'll want it for the story. And he turns on Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon. As they're wheeling me in.
Honestly, that he wasn't wrong.
As they're wheeling me in to get like take me to the intensive care burn unit and like do my skin grafts, he's like, I apparently grabbed him by the neck and I was like, okay, you can be my boyfriend now. And he said, which I can tell my drunk self was thinking like, well, now that I'm mauled, I need a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he was like, I've been your boyfriend for a long time, which is really cute. But so then I missed all my finals. I had skin grafts. Thank you to the Santa Clara burn unit for fixing my hand.
It looks great.
It looks great. But when I went in, they were like, you might use the use of your fingers. So yes, I've been injured in sex before. And the worst part was I'm aging myself. But when I got back from winter break, like I had all these Facebook messages being like, apparently you tried to set Owen on fire in sex, or like, apparently you're into like pyromaniacs and like you did this and that. And I was like, no, I was just trying to be romantic. Be yourself and just...
Now, what's the takeaway?
Be yourself.
Don't light as many Yankee
Don't
candles.
light as many Yankee candles.
Also, like...
We dated for 3 years,
He
though.
doesn't need the candles to like you.
He doesn't need the candles to like you. There you go.
Tinx, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
So fun.
Where can the people find you?
It's me, Tinx, on Instagram, TikTok, every platform. Come hang out. It's me, Tinx.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castme.com. The people will probably want you back for one of our Ask Nick episodes. We just have people call in, tell their dating stories. I tell them what's up, and you probably would enjoy it.
Love that.
Doing that, so you'll have to come back. And be sure to send in your questions. We can't thank Tinx enough for coming, and we'll see you back on Monday.